You will notice in this video, I can't count. It's more like 3.5 or 4.
Welcome everybody. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to show you 3 different options for holding open your MIG. So your first option is one straight pole, which I bought from a company in America called Ruta Lacura, something like that. They're not the cheapest of things, but they're not ridiculously expensive, and if you ask him nicely, then you know he'll be kind on things. So this is a relatively simple, straightforward option. Like I said, it's just one 4-section pole cut to size, and then there's an extendable bit on the end. It's about an 8-inch extension on the end, so you can, you can adjust that slightly to how you need. If the weather's good and you want a slightly higher pitch, then you could undo it, a bit like a trekking pole. Just undo it, pull it out, pull it out about 6 inches, tighten it up. You put it out as much as you want, up to about 8 inches if you're lucky enough. The other option is to have a fairly long walking pole. This one's a Lecky. I actually bought this just for you lot. I'm in Cheddar, so if you're in Cheddar, pop in and say hello to Dave in the Gorge Outdoors. He was kind enough to give me a little discount. So you could get a trekking pole, one that goes up to 145 centimeters. You could put basically put a bung on the end. Let's see whether that's enough. Yep. So that will also do the trick. Just straighten that. So actually that does. Interestingly, I didn't think that would be long enough. But one trekking pole, 145 centimetre, a £60 Lecky trekking pole, or any 140, I got it for 45. I don't think Dave would do that for anyone else, but I'm sure he might give you a penny off. If you say Tony went in, you ask her after a Lecky trekking pole, maybe he'll give you a penny off. But anyway, so that's at 145 centimeters. So that's actually not bad. That's actually better than I was expecting. The other option, and you could do this actually in the one thing I forgot to bring this trip, which I've never forgotten before, was my foam mat. But actually I did put this in. I asked Ron of MLD to make me a Cuban fibre. Perfect. Thanks, Ron. Oh, Lizzie, you want to come up here? So your other option is, if you've got walking poles that are shorter than 145 centimeters, which I'm surprised did so well. I need to remember to take a picture of that. If you've got pacer poles and you've got the old version with the the screwy thing, you've got a couple of options. If you can find a piece of tubing, a pacer pole were kind enough to send this to me a long time ago, but I don't know that they can still do it. But if you can find a piece of tubing that is exactly the same inner diameter as the handle section, about I don't know, 18 inches long, maybe a bit less, 12-14 inches long, take the handle section off and then just put that one in there, that one in there. Make sure you remember your bungs. You you can't do this without bungs. Well, you could get away with one bung, I guess, but I like to use 2 bungs, and then the points don't sink in the ground, because when it sinks, you know, into the ground, then it's really difficult if you need to do any minor maneuverings inside. So, you know, 2 bungs are very useful. So that clearly is another option. If you've got regular walking poles, like Lecky walking poles or some other, and you can take the bottom section out, especially if you've got the ones that have the, you know, the locking device on your walking pole. So if you've got walking poles with a locking device, then what you could do is you could take the bottom sections out. You can't really do this with 2 pacer poles, because then you'd have, you know, 2 bent handles up and down. I think it's okay to have 1 bent handle, you know, in a shelter, but I probably wouldn't be wanting the pressure on 2. But basically, if you've got normal walking poles, you could take out the tip section, you know, this bit here. So you need to know the diameter of that. That could go into there, and it could lock in if you've got the lockable type of walking poles. Lock them in like that, and then you've got, you know, then you've got a then you've got 2 walking poles together that way. So that's another option. I'm not going to, you know, do every single thing for you, but you get the idea. The other thing that you can do is you can set up an A-frame. So we're going to have, now I've never done this one before, so this one we're going to have a little bit of a practice play, and we're going to see how we get on. So in order to do an A-frame, you need 2, I would probably go with aluminium poles. I don't think you will find that you might find that carbon fiber poles are okay.
I've never done this before, so I think I'm making the poles too long initially.
Okay, now in order to set up an A-frame, I must admit personally, I think I like the 1 pole in the middle. I think it's just very easy, you know, and simple to set up. But some people
Sometimes when I watch myself back, it's like watching bloody Laurel and Hardy trying to figure out what the hell is he doing there. Oh God, I tell you, sometimes there's no hope.
I think you're gonna have to put that rubber bung in there. I think it's gonna get stuck, so I think take those rubber bungs off. Okay, so you got your A-frame. I've taken those rubber bits off so it fits inside there like that. So you could do some arm exercises as well while you're at it. Maybe bend your knee exercises. I need plenty of those. And then put your trekking pole in that one. Oops. Like I said, I think it's a bit fiddly really. I do think 1 pole is probably the easier solution. Be careful that your tips, I did say tips, not tits, don't come out there, because the last thing that you want is your pole tips poking a hole in your shelter. So then you can then put that one around there. Now then, that straight away, that's a bit too long. So you've got to kind of work out the length that you need. That's what I say, it's a bit more finaddly really. Ooh. But I think I'm going to prefer one pole, but then I'm used to that. But I think some people they like this, so we'll try it and see.
I think the space between the poles is a bit restrictive to me. And I think that's why I've got the poles so wide, which is why it didn't work. Trying to make it wider.
Right. And that's your A-frame setup, and you do get some cord here. And the idea of the cord is if you put a knot in one end like that, and then that carabiner, and then that carabiner, what is it?
Mind me, Dad.
Carabiner.
Come on, Dad, sit down. I want to sit on your lap again. Come on, sit down. I want to jump up on your lap. Come on, mind me, I'm teeny. God, what's he doing with this stupid thing? Stop messing around with YouTube and sit down so I can sit on your lap. Oh, God, and he thinks he's a YouTuber. God. Hopeless. No wonder bloody no one watches him. Sit down, Dad, I want to sit on your lap. Dad. And of course it's at that moment that pole
Then
bent over to the left as well, which we haven't noticed yet.
Tie another knot in the other end.
Oh, finally, he's gonna sit down now. Just wait my time. Wait for it. Wait for it. We'll get ready to jump.
Obviously,
Pounce.
once you've done it once, then you probably, and my carabiners over there, you could even just thread your line through like that if you so desire.
I actually think this is a better way because it saves a carabiner and it's adjustable. No, not round there. Just put it through the other carabiner.
And then just tie it off in a knot, you know, in one of those knots that sailors use.
Yep. Yep, that's the best way. And then you can adjust
And
it
that
then.
way, you know, if your poles are a different length each time, which, you know, they're likely to be.
Oh my God. Well, to be honest, they're probably not going to be a different length each time, are they?
Then it won't matter.
I have actually since discovered that Lecky tips, they're flexible. So I don't know how perfect and strong a flex Lexi tip is going to be for this.
Hole shifted over there. Doesn't seem. In fact, fiddling with that is messing around for you lot. I bent my pole tip. That's a fat lot of good, isn't it? I think probably what I did wrong is maybe I had it too far. But I mean, obviously this is done. Well, we can't say that we don't do things live. Okay. And then
Dad,
thread your line
Dad, it's a bit cold. Can I have a coat?
through there. Hang on, I'm just interrupting proceedings just to dress up the kindergarten. There you go. All right. So that's how you would do an A-frame. So if you run your line through there, you don't need the second carabiner. what you could simply do is run your line through the first carabiner like that, and then do one of those ship's anchor type knots like that, and that's now secure. That isn't, you know, two of those is plenty, and that's not going to go anywhere. And that does in theory give you, you know, more room without, you know, a pole in the middle. But somehow, I don't know how, I managed to, it's just I will admit it's I'm a bit of an MLD fanboy, obviously, but it does probably I've got it wrong somewhere or other, or maybe these pole tips just aren't, you know, maybe, I mean, I've heard people say it's very good for very bad weather. Personally, I'd prefer one pole right down the middle. That one seems, you know, that one seems okay. I don't really know, maybe I messed it up at the very beginning. Maybe the carbon fiber tips, which are a bit thinner, might hold better. I think my friend Chris, that's not Townsend, that's another one, I think he's got the carbon fiber ones. They're a bit thinner inside. Maybe that might be the way to go. Anyway, so you know, it's obviously designed to work this way. I've just messed it up. A bit like Blue Peter, kind of just messed it up somewhere along the lines. I'm not quite sure where I went wrong, but you know, obviously I went wrong somewhere there. Maybe I maybe I spread it out too far, and that put too much pressure on. Maybe you need to have it, you know, a little bit narrower. Maybe that's my that's my guess. That probably would have saved the day, because obviously this side, you know, is fine at that angle. I think so there you are. Okay, better that I mess it up than you get it and you mess it up. So I think the order of the day is not to spread your legs too wide. You know, just make sure it's fairly narrow. I think that's the trick. Anyway, that's obviously the third option when you don't, you know, when you don't butcher it. I hope you found this video helpful and informative, and we will maybe try this again another time. So not too wide. Keep them, you know, keep them close-ish together if you're going to try to. Okay, until the next video.
One thing I didn't do was, you know, try lying down under it to see how much space there was. Many people seem to obviously like an A-frame. It seemed a bit of a faff to set up to me, but then, like I said, it's literally the first time I'd ever done it. I think once you've done it the first time and you know where your pole lengths are, then I think it will be much easier a second time. I'm just personally not really convinced that you get a huge amount more space, you know, with an A-frame, and getting in and out with that second pole right by the door, which is effectively where you come and go, I would have thought would hinder, you know, getting in and out, because that's the tallest part for getting in and out. And now you've got to get around the pole at the entrance rather than, you know, in the middle when you're already inside. So I will practice with this, you know, a little bit more and just and see. But personally, I'd be sticking with one pole in the middle. But it's popular, people use this, and some people prefer it. I don't. I'm not convinced by it at all. But we will try it again at some point in the future when I've repaired the duomid. Oh, Ron, I need another duomid. But anyway, thanks very much for watching.